Good evening, Space Monkeys. Welcome to Political Fight Club. I'm your host, Robert Durden, and this is the episode I've been putting off for about a week now. Ian and I have been talking about it. It's HR1. The reason I've been putting it off is I've been trying to figure out exactly how to get such an enormous amount of information into a 10-minute video or less. And the truth is, I haven't been able to figure out a good way to do it. What I'm going to do instead is tell you some of the good things about it, and those are few and far between, but they do help election integrity. But what this bill actually does is it really just strengthens the duopoly in terms of excluding third-party candidates, keeping them off ballots, neglecting them funding, stuff like that. So that's the short version. If you're not up for listening to some boring stuff for the next 9 minutes about HR1, this isn't the video for you. I'm actually going to read to you the three main things that are off Howie Hawkins' website that are the poison pill parts of this bill that aren't just so esoteric and ridiculous that I don't have time to go over them here. But these are the ones you want to remember if you're talking about the bill. And they have to do with funding. The first one, they exclude people by a matching funds program for presidential candidates. And the matching funds program, to qualify for it, you have to make $5,000 from 250 contributions under the old law. And this bill will quintuple that. Something like, and you have to get that in 20 different states too. So it was like $100,000 that you had to raise over 20,000 or over 20 states in the old laws, and now what you have to get is $25,000 over 20 states, which is $500,000. So it's making it very difficult to qualify for that as a third-party candidate. It's very difficult often to even get that $5,000. So this is, again, it really is making it tough for grassroots. It's not a good thing for anybody that is hoping to vote outside of the duopoly in the future. So, and Howie Hawkins knows his stuff in and out. He's not terribly charismatic. I like him a lot, but he does know his stuff. So if you want to see this for yourself, go read it on his website. Highly recommend. It'll give you the short version. Again, the shortest version that he possibly can, and you don't have to read the whole bill. It's a lot. The next thing that is the poison pill is the 6-to-1 ratio match increases funding gaps by 7 times. So what this means is that like somebody that does qualify, like they might raise something like $500,000 and then they will get that matched, right? Because it's a ratio, you know, you take that $500,000 and you give them that 6-to-1, right? That's $3 million. But then you take somebody that maybe raises $1 million and they also get that 6-to-1 ratio. So they go from $1 million to $7 million because they get the extra $6 million. And it again, the less you make, the ratio hurts you more. So, and of course, then there's some people that make $5 million, and then they also get the 6-to-1 ratio. That makes them go from 5 to 30 million. So it's discriminating against candidates that can't raise a lot of money, which is definitely the third-party candidates only. The Democrats and Republicans never have a hard time with any of these things. This is obviously discriminating against third parties. So, and then the last one here, and this is the real bad one. If you can remember one thing about HR1 from this video, this is the one thing you got to remember, is that it eliminates spending limits, or excuse me, it eliminates the previous cap that a national committee for the Democratic or the Republican Party can spend towards the actual party. So this is like the DNC, right? But it isn't just the DNC, as it turns out. You can also get the committees from both the House and the Senate. The oh goodness gracious, what do they call them? The Senate campaign committees. Those three committees, each side, can donate now $100 million each instead of $5,000 each, which it was under the old law. That is the biggest problem with HR1 right there, because there is absolutely no way third-party candidates can ever now go around the amount of funding that a national committee could donate to some sort of incumbent Democrat or Republican. So this is, again, a bipartisan thing. You're never going to break through as an outside party on either wing, because the national committees can donate millions of dollars at the drop of a hat to any campaign they choose. And $1 million is enough to just destroy most campaigns. Like, a lot of campaigns never get off the ground. 10 million? Easy. Sometimes it's Amy McGrath and they do 110 million. But someone like Amy McGrath might get 200 or 300 million if they allow a bill or something like this, because, and they're going to, by the way, this is going to pass more than likely, I think. It's going to allow an enormous amount of money from establishment to be funneled into whatever campaign they deem worthy, which is not going to be any progressive candidates, and it's certainly not going to be any, more, right-wingers either that are outside the Republican status quo. Those are all going to be, again, subject to this. So it's probably going to pass. It does have automatic voter registration, which is good. There's a couple other things, like it cleans up mail-in voting, or mail-in voting was never in need of being cleaned up, but it more well funds the post office and keeping mail-in voting quick. And it does do some things for election integrity, which we really want. But again, that's why we call it a poison pill, is that these are provisions put in there specifically for crippling third parties. So I'm going to be very bittersweet when it does pass, I think, because it does clean up our elections somewhat. But I've been voting green, man. It makes it tough. It's going to make it very tough. Funding is going to be very difficult if this passes, if not impossible. And that's the point. So I don't know what else to tell you. There's more in the bill, but I don't have a lot of time. And like I said, I don't want to make a 20-minute video on this. Take it for what it is. It's making funding very difficult. The fund matching for outside parties is very discriminatory with that 6-to-1 ratio. And they're allowing $300 million to be donated by national committees, which is 3 committees per party. That's $300 million freed up that they can throw at whatever crap status quo candidate they want to. So take it for what it is, and we'll see what happens with it. But I'll feel bittersweet about it no matter what. Keep fighting the good fight out there, guys. I'll see you.